Chris, speak on it.
You know something, and it's very unfortunate that people want to eat off your plate when they already ate. And sometimes you really got to get gully about yours. And a lot of you have a sweet spirit, but don't let that sweet spirit be stupidity for you, okay? Well, I guess maybe people wouldn't ask if they weren't hungry, right? Listen, you got some people with the spirit of greed, which is a deadly sin. And God talks about the spirit of greed. And many of us have grown up in households where if you were not given your last, you were thought to be the worst and the most stingiest person to ever walk the face of the earth. But you have eaten. And if I simply want to eat what was prepared for me, now I'm stingy. Oh, you can't share? I'ma fix you. I personally grew up that way. So I developed a mentality, if I wasn't overextending myself, then people would not know that I love them. That's something that happens in your subconscious that you don't even realize is ruling your life. You do that on jobs. You're always trying to prove yourself. There is nothing to prove here. Some of the people around you are straight up greedy, nasty dogs. And that greedy, nasty dog could be your mama, your kids, or somebody else, because it's the spirit that is forcing a person. No, you already ate. And if I ask for anything off your plate, you'll call me greedy and you will say no. But at the end of the day, if I set boundaries for myself and say, I'm just going to consume of my plate because I need this for my nourishment, you stingy, I'ma fix you. I'ma fix you. I've had those words uttered to me so much in my lifetime, and it leaves you at a place of saying, I know I need what I have, and this is beyond food. But if I don't give this to you, now that's a problem. No, I know I got to pay this bill and do this, that, and the third. But because you are this person or because you are that person, you feel entitled to my paycheck. You feel entitled to my time or energy when I don't have that time or energy to devote to your stupidity on today. And now I'm the bad one. No. You have to really understand that you worked for a thing and God has granted you some things in your lifetime and nobody has reign and jurisdiction over it unless you give it to them. And people try again to psychologically screw you. You don't have to give up your stuff in this season because this is how the enemy disarms you. There's a famine. There's a famine. And if you grew up in poverty, famine and the idea of it is not far away from you. A paucity of a thing that makes people around you feel like they have to overly consume. So I'm going to eat what I eat, and then I'm going to take your food and get it off your plate. People be bullies, and these same people related to you. Some of you guys are in relationships with men and women who are that same way. Some of you may go to a restaurant with someone you're in a relationship with and say, order what you want. But at the end of the day, they're going to eat up all of their food. And this moment you pull your plate back to you and say, how long you done had your food? I may not mind you tasting something, but you've eaten your food. Oh, you stingy. Not a pissy. Not a whole situation is messed up because you set a boundary. If someone cannot respect your boundary, you don't need to have any communication with them. If they always make it seem like you are attacking them because you are protecting yourself, something's wrong with that person. They want you to be at your worst state. Listen, some people don't feel like they are good unless you are at your wit's end. And that's a horrible mindset for you to have to live with. If I'm not overly extending myself, my mother will feel like I don't love her. If I'm not overly extending myself, my husband or my kids don't feel like, I love them. So I'm just trying to prove my love. Listen, I say this all the time. If you don't know who I am by now, you'll never know. And I'm not going to live this life trying to prove a thing to somebody because somebody with a twisted mentality will always twist what I say and do. Ain't no winning with you. But what you need to know is that God will even send you things. And I remember having one dream. I had this dream of being at a table, a feast of things, and there was a monkey. And it was someone from my past who I was very, very tight with, almost like sisters with. She was sitting at this very same table, right? And this monkey kept trying to eat things. And I would grab the plate or I would hit the monkey or do something in retaliation to try to get my food. And this monkey would try to become violent. It be the same people that you have loved and served that put out curses towards you for your harvest to be eaten of. Because at the same time as God assigned angels to you, the enemy assigned demons to you. And what a demon is going to do is play on your kindness. Always try to figure out a loophole in. Let me act as if I'm just a needy person. Or let me come in the disguise of this, that, and the third. No, you got to reject, rebuke, renounce this in this season. You need your harvest. And if anybody thinks that it's a crime for you to be eaten or that you're a stingy person because you are protecting what's upon you, then something's wrong with that person and you need to let them go. Again, I realize it because that is something that had been done to me since I was a child. I remember having a sweater. And this was my sweater. This is my cardigan. This is something that was bought for me and I love it. Now, this person almost 2 times smaller than me, but because they wanted, I had to give it up. I had to give up my sweater for somebody else. And this was not your own thing, but because you saw me have it, you wanted it. And that's how people are in life. Yeah, some of you are doing that with your children right now. You let one of the Hellcats of the family get away with murder. Get after him so he can stop crying. It's in that crying that he's manipulating everybody. It's in that temper tantrum that he is manipulating everybody. So what I would suggest you do is repent before God and go repent toward that person. Anything you made them give up, now go repair that. Go give it back. Food you've made people give up. Some of your kids even, they will have their food, you bought it for them, and you take half of their food and eat it. In the moment that they say, Mommy, I'm hungry again. You just ate. No, you just ate their food. You just ate, not them. Them babies still hungry because you got that greedy spirit. Because you take what is theirs and you consume it. Although you have the ability to get something else, but you ain't satisfied till you get what somebody else got. You got to check that spirit. There is a spirit of jealousy that runs you, a spirit of control. You got to control a person's portion. Listen, that's not your obligation. Why do you do things like that? And again, you just like the grave, because the grave is never satisfied. Some people right now trying to access your life so bad because they just like the grave. They ain't satisfied. They got a husband, baby. They ain't satisfied till they get yours. At least let me get the attention of your husband. At least let him see me. Let me get into your arena. At least I want to be able to at least influence people. Let me do something that's like yours, because I'm not contented with my plate. Even though I've already eaten, I want to eat your plate. I want to eat your plate, and they vicious. These people vicious. So let me tell you, when you dealing with vicious creatures, you got to get a little bit vicious with them. Do what you got to do to stay alive in this season. Love you much. Mwah.